We have some exciting updates to ZoneCapture's three-way matching feature to share with you. Justyna is here to tell you all about it.
As long as your NetSuite account will be upgraded to the newest ZoneCapture version, you will see the new feature available on your account. By default, the feature is not enabled. You will notice new three-way matching subtab when you can easily enable three-way matching feature. Today, during demo, I will show you the basic setup. I have a PDF invoice that I send via email or manually uploaded via ZoneCapture OCR tool. Purchase order is connected to this particular bill to process. I'm ready to proceed, so I click Save and Process. We have lines captured via OCR tool. In the background, we connected purchase order that also has particular lines. And now what the three-way matching tool is doing, captured lines are being matched against purchase order data. White lines are coming from the purchase order and they were successfully connected with captured lines. We also see here two blue lines. It means these purchase order lines were not able to be found on the PDF invoice, so most likely your vendor bill is not billing exactly what you have on the purchase order. If I click on the three-way matching, you are redirected to our new screen called ZoneCapture three-way matching line status. The header section is the summary of the matching progress. We also have the check on the total amount, and we also have the reference to which purchase order we are working with. Please remember that all data on this screen are dynamic, so whatever changes you do, either on the vendor bill or on this pop-up screen, everything is recalculated in real time. Let me go through the lines. The top section always presents matched purchase order lines. Our purchase order, 5 lines, 3 of them has been successfully matched, what we already saw as white lines on the actual vendor bill. But there are, of course, some differences. The first purchase order line has been matched with captured lines, but you see the blue coloring. It means that purchase order data comparing to vendor bill data are the same, but in the background, captured data is slightly different. On the vendor bill, I currently have a rate 1,499. However, if I hover over the rate, as we see here, the rate that we currently have on the vendor bill is not equal to rate that our vendor is presenting on the PDF invoice and that our OCR tool captured. So then it's up to the end user to decide if this is acceptable difference or any changes are needed. You will also see the highlighted difference for quantity receipts. In this case, if I hover over quantity, you will see that billed quantity is 2, while only 1 is received. Again, up to the end user, is this acceptable or some adjustments are needed. The second line, we see black highlighting. Our three-way matching feature contains an option to set thresholds. You can define it per item, per vendor, on the subsidiary setup, or for your whole NetSuite account. In my case, for this particular inventory item, I set up threshold for the rate, stating that up to 1 unit, I accept the difference. So if I now open my inventory item, ZoneCapture subtab, just to double check, we have threshold settings, fixed amount for rate, and this setting is 1. So it means plus minus 1 particular currency. So we still would like to highlight for the end user that there is a difference. However, this is acceptable as this is within defined threshold. And then red highlighting means that the difference is outside of threshold or the threshold is not defined at all. We also have a preference to highlight quantity if billed quantity is lower than purchase order quantity. This is a preference in the main configuration. If the end user would like to be notified with orange highlighting that there's a potential underbilling situation, they can always enable this preference. If you're not happy with auto-matched lines, you can always unlink them. Here is an unlink icon. If I click on it, it means we do not want to bill this particular purchase order line, so the line is back to the status of not billed, and also the originally captured lines is also back to original state, and from there you can make any adjustments if needed. You can either bill purchase order line as a standalone line with the green plus icon. You can also bill captured line as a standalone line with green plus icon, or you can connect purchase order line with captured line to trigger tolerances, processes, and all checkings. Drag and drop function is available, so if for any reason I would like to manually match, for example, my item number 6 with this particular item, the moment you drag and drop it, the whole settings and preferences are taken into account. Highlighting is also being triggered, tolerances process is run, and then as a result you are billing purchase order line as it is matched with this particular captured line. If you are dealing with a lot of lines and your PDF data is not in line with purchase order data, but you would like to within one click add particular lines to the vendor bill, you can use the button Bill all unmatched lines. Then all remaining purchase order lines will be billed within one click. If you're also dealing with a lot of lines and you would like to focus on lines that are not yet billed, you can use the toggle Hide Matched Lines. You will see that lines that are already matched and billed are disappearing from this pop-up, so then your full focus will be on not yet matched lines. The pop-up is dynamic. Also, it's dynamic and syncing with changes that you make directly on the vendor bill. So if you would like to add for any reason additional items directly on your vendor bill, this also is reflected on the model as manually added line. Gray icon, if you hover over it, it will guide you that this particular item is added manually, not connected to purchase order line. If needed, you can also delete it from this perspective. If I submit the model, it will reflect changes that I've done directly on the pop-up. If you save the vendor bill via ZoneCapture, additional subtab is also available, ZoneCapture. You will get a three-way matching summary. Every item is compared data from vendor bill versus data on the purchase order, and rate, quantity, and amount is compared. Also, item receipt data if applicable. We highlight any differences. So in our case, we have a difference on the quantity vendor bill versus item receipt. And the result in this case is verify billed more than receipt. The reason for that is that we allow to bill in advance of receipt. So this is a warning to double check, but it's not an actual failure. However, in this case, we have item number 7, vendor bill versus purchase order amount, vendor bill data, purchase order data. There is a difference of 0.25. The result is fail because we did not have any tolerances. If there are any tolerances set, then on this summary, we will show you exactly what the setting was, what was the tolerance, what was the range inside which we approve the particular value, and the result pass if it's within tolerance and fail if it's outside of tolerances.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more, visit zoneandco.com and request a demo today.